I want to get you to see if I can get you to make a statement about your historical presentation somehow. It's hard to do in a nutshell, right? But from what I saw early on, you had sedition as an issue because you had a very young country that had never done it before, so they were very afraid in a lot of ways. And you had the two superpowers breathing down their, three actually, but one was fading in the UK and France, and with Spain fading a little bit by that point. They could have come in at any time. And that was then. And then more recently, it's been, of course, the communist threat, which came about starting with Marx, but it didn't really seep into the US that much till the late 1800s. And so there's this fear that drives the government to protect itself. Can you make and I love all the revolutions, not revolutions, rebellions. Each rebellion from Bacon's on, you went through all of those. Can you sort of summarize American history as it relates to free speech and the government? Because that's what we're talking about in the First Amendment.
Yeah, the book goes through the so-called rebellions that occurred after the Revolution. And they are fascinating and a bit chilling. Some of them were not really rebellions. You saw figures like Adams cracking down on dissent. Many of these farmers in Pennsylvania, for example, had legitimate grievances about losing their homes, losing their farms, and the sort of disconnect of representation to the capital city. They were not truly revolutionaries, but there were people in government who wanted to use these rebellions to create the case for the federal government and the federal army. And that includes people like Alexander Hamilton, who took a very harsh view of these uprisings. You see this pattern emerge where the government's excess in the moment is what drives the history. In many of these instances, it is state rage that responds to rage rhetoric. In some of these rebellions, you have a lot of rage rhetoric. You have farmers who are very upset over things like the whiskey tax. But it's really the government that turns it into a true rebellion. It is state rage. And that's the pattern that emerges over and over again, all the way through the Palmer raids, and then to our present day. The government often views rage rhetoric as an opportunity to expand their control over political dialogue in the country. You certainly see that today in Europe. And it is a pattern that repeats itself in this pendulum swing that we have in history.